Good morning, Desert Sands Educational Foundation community. Sean Webb, you're director of the foundation and director of community engagement for Desert Sands here. It is Thursday morning at 8 a.m. We're starting a little bit earlier today because I'll flat out say I've got a Zoom meeting day, just full of Zoom meetings. I got one meeting after this, then I got 11:30, then I got a 2 o'clock, then yeah, it's going to be a fun, full day. But we've got an exciting day here with Chef Mary. Let me bring her on screen here. Take that one off. Mary on. Oh, here we go. You know, Mary, one of these days I'll get a handle on all these screens. It's just a little bit complicated for me. How you doing?
Hey, I'm doing really, really well. It's a gorgeous day this morning. It was a little chilly. I actually, you know that when you live here long enough, you become a wimp, and at nighttime you put the electric blanket on, or you turn the fireplace on when the house is at 60. You get used to that warmth, and of course the ambiance of doing all that. But I'm doing well. I realize that, as you can probably tell, I have a different hair color this morning.
You got to see somebody to get your hair done.
No, I didn't do that. I went to the store and picked up a box and read the label and looked at the color, and I thought this looks just like the color that I want, but unfortunately, it isn't.
Well, I'll tell you what, Mary, you look absolutely gorgeous this morning. Thank you very much. And you look gorgeous every morning.
So never believe the box if you're dyeing your hair from one color to the other. So when I washed it and I dried it out, and I looked in the mirror last night and I went, oh, well, okay, here we go. What the heck?
Well, you look beautiful. Thank you for joining us again.
Thank you for having me as well.
Yeah, so we've got a special visitor today with us too.
Awesome.
I'll talk about the visitor in a second, but I've got a video to kind of clue it up. But before we do the video, our visitor has to do with this.
Oh, how cool here? Yes. So I think that's someone we know well.
Yeah, so we have Town Artisan Studios with us today, and I have a little video. They have a program there, as you can see. These are Brooklyn's hands, and they have a program there where you can go there to have your children's hands or your animal's paws, anything, and it's called Little Hands in Clay. And I thought I'd share that video, and then we'll bring on the founder of Town Artisan Studios. That's Victory Grund. She's going to join us. But let me go ahead and cue up the video here. I'll take us off screen for a second, okay, Mary?
Okay.
Actually, you know what? Let's see here. Take us off screen. I'll play the video.
Town Artisan Studios offers handprints in clay. So that is a service that we provide for families that want to bring in their little ones or their little tots or even their pets.
Unfortunately, sometimes with technology we have that, Mary, you know, that happens every now and then. Okay, sorry. You know, I'm sorry about the technical difficulties there, Mary. We'll have to try and do that maybe later in our program.
Okay, cool.
Yeah, that's no problem. I'm sure we can try and cue that up after we have Victory on. But as I was sharing, we've got Victory Grund with us today, the founder of Oulton Artisan Studios. So let's bring her on camera.
Good morning.
How are you doing?
Good morning, Victory.
I'm good. It's so good to see you.
Yeah, as we were sharing before, you know, I'll share with everybody watching. Mary and Victory have been on many emails back and forth over the years.
Oh, yeah.
Because we've been part of, La Quinta Culinary has been part of the Gingerbread program over at Oulton Artisan Studios. And this is actually one of the first times that I think that you two have actually seen one another. Isn't that true?
It is true.
Yeah. It's funny, you see a name and then you can't imagine who the name goes to, and then you see a picture. And then I know that we've seen each other along the way from, 10 years of being involved in the culinary program. So It's good to see you face to face and hear your voice.
And likewise, I just know that this last year I got to meet some of your young chefs that have been the chefs to make, now I think we're up to 9,500 cookies.
Oh my gosh.
Oh my gosh.
In the 2 years of Gingerbread Lane.
Okay, well, we'll definitely get to that, talk about Gingerbread Lane and everything that's going on great at Old Town Artisan Studios. But Victory, maybe you could just give a brief introduction of who is Victory Grund and share that with our community watching.
Oh dear, that could be scary. No. Well, I have to say that we, about maybe, it's 11 years ago now, I hit a real low because my parents had lived with us for 12 years and they had to move to an assisted living. And there was a huge void in my life. So I really went through a clinical depression. I didn't hear their walkers in the morning, and a friend handed me 5 pounds of clay. And he just said, you know, this is going to help you. It's going to get your imagination going. Your mind's going to be somewhere else. And I think your parents would love knowing you're doing this. So it was like an addiction.
Okay.
He handed me that piece of clay and told me to imagine something. And I imagined a Mexican immigrant. I'd read a book called The Tortilla Curtain.
Okay.
And it was really meaningful to me. And that just started it all. And I quit other things I was doing to be able to do art. And then I realized art was taken out of all the schools. I hadn't known that before, that they had defunded art. And I thought to myself, this isn't right.
Right.
And then I went to Boys and Girls Club at the same time, kind of as that being a counteract of my depression. And I met Maria Gonzalez, and I told her that I'd started doing art, and I looked around the room at the Boys and Girls Club back then in La Quinta. All these kids were sitting down against the wall. And I thought, well, maybe they were waiting for sports or something. And I said, she said, oh no, they're just not sports inclined. And I said, well, what if they did art? Would they enjoy that? And she got lit up like a Christmas tree. So that was our first outreach group that we had.
Okay. Fantastic. Okay, so that was 11 years ago. So I've been an assistant principal for about 15 years, and then I took my new position. So I can definitely share that. Yeah, during that time period, there was, it's the last recession, you want to say, right?
Right.
With going on, the housing boom and everything that happened, art definitely got defunded then in education. There wasn't as much funds going on.
Exactly.
We definitely lost a lot of the programs. So it's great that Old Town Artisan Studios came around. So tell us, so that's 12 years ago. What's been going on in the last 12 years with Old Town Artisan Studio? We talked about Gingerbread Lane. Maybe you could share about that and how La Quinta Culinary has been involved.
Oh, and that's been just the crescendo of it all, because we did start one little studio with one kiln in Old Town way back then, 2009. Okay. And then we went to we moved 4 times. And then we realized that when schools, again, the defunding happened with schools, it also happened with our senior centers where we had seniors coming in. They couldn't come to us anymore. So we got a mobile art van, and our outreach went from 1,200 free classes for people to 5,000.
Oh, wow. That is awesome.
It's just amazing. And now the vans are going, they go to places like Jewish Family Services and all the YMCA and Boys and Girls Club after-school programs. And it's just been wonderful. We even have 6 tabletop wheels we could take to facilities like Shelter from the Storm and places that have, they're cloistered. But working with the school has been wonderful. Even as long ago as, I think it was 2010, Serena Lewis, I think you know her.
Yes, I know Serena Lewis well, yeah.
She she came in one day and said, my special needs kids need a special place to do their art. And they have literally been, it makes me cry. They've been coming to Old Town Artisan Studio from the very beginning. They come over with a handicap van, and Serena brings maybe 8 to 10, 12 kids with her every week, never fail. Yeah. And they come right before we open, sometimes 10 or 10:30. But it's really special. This week we lost one of them. So Amanda, she had been in that program, and then she's been coming to something we call Pottery Friends. Okay. And that's the kids that are older than high school, but they come on a regular basis.
Oh my gosh, it's absolutely fantastic. Chef Mary, those are the students that were at La Quinta High School in the severely handicapped class, and they go over there weekly. They go over there weekly and it's amazing. You know, I'll share. I'm a board member on Oulton Artisan Studio, and I feel honored to be a member of this organization. And routinely, when we go to our board meetings, when we would physically meet, we walk right through the clay studio there, and there are the students working and just having the best time.
They are
the best time.
Well, you know, our culinary program has a huge history of gingerbread that goes back to the walk-in gingerbread house that they did, I believe, at the Marriott.
Yes.
Oh,
yep.
I
And
remember that.
we did like 600 tiles. And of course, none of it was edible. And so some of the kids were trying to eat it and then make it. And then I think the first year it was under under Chef Felicia's her reign at the culinary school after I left. I went in one day for like a showdown or something, and there was just a cajillion gingerbread people.
Oh,
And
I would love to have seen that.
I looked at Felicia and I go, "What in heaven's name did you sign up for?" And she goes, "We're just making gingerbread people. That's all we do is we just make gingerbread men." And it was really cool because they were lined up. They were excited that they were involved in the program. And
Bad.
I was teasing Sean. I said, "This year you're going to have to put little masks on them."
Yes. Oh, no, that's right. We will have to get clever with that.
Hey, I love that idea because it's more glazing on the gingerbread. That means
that's right. That's right.
Yes. So I mean, we've had a huge history being involved in that industry, and I know our students always like to go down and volunteer and see different things. It gives them a chance to meet people. It makes them understand volunteering. I'm a huge volunteer person. I think.
Oh, I love that so much.
My parents were volunteers. They were with the Knights of Columbus, and they worked at the church. And my dad was always like Santa Claus for the fire department every year, and just grew up that's what you did. You know, you volunteer. I was a tour guide in Old Town San Diego for 4 or 5 years in a full costume. I'll have to share a picture of that. And then we get our kids to volunteer for Sean's events, like the Cancer Society, diabetes. You know, they come after school. They get credit and points for it. But I told him, I said, "This is where you'll be seen, and this is where your next job could come from."
That's right.
See how good you are. Like you noticed our students that were with your son. We had little kids that thought they'd never work at jobs.
Wow.
You know, Chef Mary, you brought up something there that the culinary students have worked over at Oulton Artisan Studio. Victory, maybe if you could talk about the various things where they've helped out, either through Gingerbread Lane or if it's been dinners. If you could talk about how students from not just La Quinta High School, but maybe students from the desert have helped out at Oulton Artisan Studio.
Well, and particularly when we first started, and this, what you're saying this morning is just really sparking a little thing in my heart again, because we did have something called YAB. It was a Youth Artisan Board.
Okay.
And Dave Eisen was our director at the time and was very instrumental in this. And we had kids from 7 schools, both middle school and high school. And they met every other week at the studio, and their meetings were like a Fortune 500 company.
Of course they were.
They had a mission statement, they had a vision statement, and they had goals, and they had it was beautiful. And to be really honest, it's something I would dearly love to do again. They wanted to do an art show, featuring getting the art teachers at the schools, and they would involve culinary. Excellent. They mentioned the culinary department, having them featured at a fair. So we even have an empty lot next to us at the campus. And I've dreamt of that being a little place for a little art fair every so often for our youth.
Definitely. Definitely. You know what, Victor?
I haven't passed this by our director, so I'm not tuning in.
You know what, Victory? Hold on one second. You seem to be kind of breaking in and out. So sometimes when I take people off screen and bring them back on, I'm going to do that. Maybe it'll fix that problem there. Okay. I'm just going to do that real quick. Yeah. All right. Let's try and we'll bring her back. There we go.
All right. Is that any better?
Much better. Much better. maybe you
Yeah.
can share a little bit.
During this being at home and everything, my daughter-in-law, we have a 10-year-old granddaughter, and they do a virtual paint night.
Oh,
And
that's lovely.
And so she paints with her quite a bit. And now when I've gone to their house, there's just this myriad of paints everywhere, all the walls covered with canvases. And this year for Christmas, Maddie, or actually for Halloween, Maddie made me this little canvas, little box, had a little Halloween scene on it. And I says, "Oh, honey, where did you buy this? This is so cool." And she goes, "Grammy, I made it for you."
See, that you're just making my heart pound when you say that, because that's what we're all about.
Yeah, when you do that, when you put them involved in that, I mean, she's incredibly creative. But Dana spent a lot of time with her. Just that's what they do. When things are getting kind of squirrely, they have paint night or they make something, and
they work with their hands.
It's interesting. Yeah, working with your hands and your mind and colors and numbers, and it's all to me, it's all part of that learning process.
And Mary, what you just said was really meaningful too, because in the last few months, of course, with this COVID situation, we had to shut our doors. And at the time, we had 600 ceramic eggs that we give to the students all over to paint. And we fire them, and they are gorgeous little pieces of art, shiny little ceramic eggs. But we couldn't get them anywhere because schools closed, Boys and Girls Club closed, YMCA closed. So with the help of Sean and our city council, my husband and I put that little egg in a little Easter bag with paints, with with watercolor, a whole sleeve of them. Well, what happened was we discovered that the students that we reach out to, Mary, they don't have an art drawer like you're mentioning Dana has and I have, and my children grew up with. We always had an art drawer. We never were without crayons and paints. And with these kids that we went to, we actually took 300 to the
that was a lot of fun doing that.
Thing. And we took 300 and they distributed them for us through Find Food Bank and through the school district. They actually, Sean was there, Steve Sanchez.
I love Steve Sanchez.
He's darling. And so they made that, and they brought art to the kids. Yeah. And then I've since heard that they've used them for their Easter cards, their Mother's Day cards. Yeah. Use the paints for now. There'll be Father's Day coming up. Mm-hmm. So we're up to about 6,000.
Oh, it's 6,000 art kits? Okay.
Yeah.
Wow, that's fantastic. And now I know that we're not doing them as much through the meal distributions with the schools, but you're doing them through Find Food Bank. Can you share a little bit about that?
Yes, Find Food Bank heard what we were doing and that the kids were just at home, stuck, so bored and really almost depressed at times. And art really heals depression. Like I told you, that's how it all started. Yeah. So they approached us and said, we have a way of distributing these. If you could make more of what you made for the school district, we'll take as many as you can get.
That's awesome.
So we started raising a little money, and we kept asking people, knowing that $10 would supply 3 art kits. So it's a little sleeve of acrylic paints, and we're making the ceramic pieces at the studio. So that's awesome. Staff is doing, and we'll need volunteers for that. So we'll grab some of those youth volunteers to help us put together. The art kits are going to Shelter from the Storm and the Coachella Valley Rescue Mission, places where they're living with in residence.
Okay, and I'll say a lot of the places that you guys are assisting, that in essence they're within our district boundaries as well.
Absolutely.
Right within our district boundaries. So they definitely, you guys are servicing our families and our students. So thank you.
Absolutely.
I really appreciate that. And no, I know that you said earlier that the doors were closed, but now can you talk about how the doors have opened?
Oh my goodness.
At Town Artisan Studio.
Well, yes, that's the most amazing thing. We're very careful to watch. We're so close to YMCA, so we work a lot with them and talked with them about their protocol. And so we opened up kids camps, and this is our revenue camp.
Okay.
These are things that we need to be able to stay afloat,
Yes.
even though we love giving 25,000 and more now than ever, free everything away. I keep having the board tell me, Victor, you just can't keep doing that. We do need to pay the lights. Well, so we offer adult and kids classes that people actually pay for. And this year in the summer camps, there's 2 sessions, both younger kids and then teen class, and they're full for the next 4 weeks, I understand.
Oh, that's excellent.
Yeah, so there's room for kids to join in August.
Okay.
But the teachers are fabulous, so they love what they do there. They score their week, and
Okay.
Thomas said they all gave us a 10. So that's pretty good coming from kids.
Oh, definitely. Oh, so the kids score the teachers.
Yes, the kids scored the class.
Okay, so the teachers getting a report card from the students. Imagine that, Chef Mary.
Oh.
You know, in the class I had, when we would do a contest, I would have them judge everybody else's food instead of me judging it, because I felt if they looked at it and they saw the good or the bad or the ugly of it and they wrote it down, at least I knew they knew what to be looking for, and they would vote for the best cookie or the best cupcake or what tasted the best or whatever, and it would all be like a blind judging underneath a piece of paper or whatever. And it was interesting that they celebrated that somebody voted for this one particular cupcake or cookie, and they didn't feel slighted that maybe theirs didn't win. It was kind of interesting. I thought it was a really good way to let them know that you could win and you could lose, but you still won.
Yes,
you know,
that's nice.
Whether your cookie didn't make it, and then they would recognize, they go, oh yeah, my cookie didn't really look that great. So it wasn't like a negative plan to do. It was really positive that they knew that, okay, Sarah's cookie was the best, and yay for Sarah.
Yep.
But I tell you what we did that I'll come down and do with you when you get back open. We had them build a paper buffet. We took a great big piece of like butcher block, and then we had them cut out pictures of food and whatever, and how to place it on the board, on the paper, and make a buffet and talk about why it's there and how it's there. And somebody had, they get green beans, or they find a picture of a cake or a pie or and they put it on this board to understand, how to go through a buffet and how things are cooked, and we talk about each item. And when I was in culinary school, we had to build a buffet, and some of my crazy friends got together. We got Play-Doh. We made a buffet out of Play-Doh. I mean, for days we were like, all of us were making like little beets and little strawberries, and so I took it into school, and my instructor said to me, "Are you showing off or what? Like, what is your life like that you can make 400 or 500 pieces?" But it was just fun to do it that way, and everybody was involved in it.
This is I don't know if you can see this or not, but this is my ceramic sandwich. It's a BLT.
Okay.
I see your olive on the top.
Yeah, that's about all. I can't tell what you can see or not, but it's fun to have made a whole culinary thing in clay. And I love it if your kids came down and we could do that together. We have a kitchen on our campus. Have you been there yet to see the
No.
kitchen? Oh, Sean, if you could take her over, even
definitely, Chef Mary, the next time once things are a little bit more open and so forth.
Yeah.
Once we get to the next stage, I'd love to give you a personal tour over. That'd be great. So I want to keep us moving along here because there's so many great things at Town Artisan Studios. Somebody's got an alarm going.
My allergy shot reminder.
So we've talked about the art kits. We've talked about Gingerbread Lane. We've talked about how the culinary students have worked over there. As well as one of the biggest programs that we unfortunately didn't get to have this year is Literature Live. And Mary, so the IB students at La Quinta High, they have this amazing thing where they perform a piece of literature in about a minute sonnet, and they have to they have to dress up, they have to act. I almost see it as like being, like if you walk through Central Park and you got these statues of people and you have to activate them. So that's going on over at Town Artisans for I think this would have been the third year.
Third year. Yeah.
It's been the
That is
third year.
awesome, yes.
Yeah. So I see that you got a lot of connection with the students in the community. Maybe you could tell us a little bit about this program. I was about to show a video, but tell us about what this program's all about.
Well, what we do love doing is taking those little bitty hands that grow so fast.
Yes.
And as soon as our little ones are old enough, I did have Ivana tell me the other day, they can't be so little, their hands stay curled. They have to be a little bit older, maybe 3 months even. But we've been doing this now for 10 years.
Oh, that's awesome.
Do the little a little plaque like Brooklyn has.
Yep.
And are there holes on the top and bottom?
Holes the top and the bottom.
Okay.
Yep.
There's a reason for that, because they come in on their birthday every year and have another one done. And so they usually go up to about 6 or so, 6 years, because that's enough time for the kids to go and look at that little plaque and go, oh, was that my hand?
How cool is that?
So we'd love to welcome families to do that. And it's a really nice gift to give to people for a baby gift.
Oh, definitely.
They do them with plaster. I know there's little kits they give you in hospitals sometimes, but this is done on ceramics that lasts forever. It won't break, it won't crack.
We took advantage of it, and that was our Mother's Day gifts for the grandmas.
Yes, that's right.
And rather than 2 hands for theirs, we did 1 hand and 1 foot.
Oh, I didn't remember that. Brooklyn wasn't very happy with me. I was afraid she did sort of wonder.
I think it was because the clay was so cold that day.
It was cold.
We'll blame it on the clay.
Yes, that's right.
Yeah, Mary, so the next time you're in town with your grandkids, another program that you could do is you can bring them over there, and they've got the paint the pottery. So on Thanksgiving, I brought my niece and nephew over there, and we painted some pottery. And that was, and then they came back at the holidays. That was their Christmas gift. They fired it and everything, and I gave them that as their Christmas gift.
Not great.
Well, those things are just treasures to have. I mean, like I keep all the ones I have, and I have a little one that Steve made. My son is now like 44, and he drew a little picture. And you keep those things. It's a little car, and it's got like dust coming out the back, and it goes zoom, zoom, Mom, the crazy driver.
Oh, love it.
He was like 6 years old. He knew me then very well.
Oh, that's so funny.
And it's kind of interesting how when you compare my 6-year-old to what he did to when Maddie was 6-year-old, the writing and the thought process is the same. I mean, it's kind of amazing that you think that maybe one is different than the other, but she made something for me, and I put them side by side, and it was hard to tell who did what, because the same thought process and the same writing and the same drawing ability. It was just really interesting. I think parents, you enjoy having that around and looking at it.
Oh, forever. I have an ashtray my husband made 70 years ago.
Oh, wow. Yeah.
He pressed a leaf in the clay. So
it's funny. I actually have, Tara and I use it at the holidays, and it's a small baking dish that I made in ceramics class in high school. And on the back of it, it has my initials, and I made it in September of '95.
Yeah.
So,
my initials, and we still use it at the holidays.
Well, and this is both of you are just thrilling my hearts, because that's why we do what we do, building memories and giving gifts for others. That means so much more than going to a store and buying something, so it's just so meaningful. It's just like with you, Mary. People have asked me, what makes me so excited about what we do. And I often parallel taking a homemade loaf of bread to a buffet. And you'll find people that have been on a diet that they're going to start, and they look at that homemade bread and they know you've worked on it, you've let it rise, you've got it in the oven, you've made it with your own hands out of your own oven, and they go, oh, I can't resist. I am going to have some bread tonight. But if they brought in a loaf of bread from Safeway, let's say, they could pass. I can have some bread tonight. Yep. But because somebody made it and they created it, and it was fresh and wonderful, and that's what the difference is between what we make too, just that it's handmade, hand created. They'll keep it forever.
Yeah.
So
And I think what happens too, I recently was in this little study, and it said that when you give a gift to someone, and they say thank you, that comes back like twofold to you, because you've baked something with your heart, you've given it to someone as a signal of appreciation, but the thank you that comes back from them, it's overwhelming, that it's all of a sudden become back and forth. Hi, how are you? I'm fine. Reaction. And like I like to do that with cookies and cupcakes and the neighbors or the little kids in the neighborhood.
you know
it's
what
just kind of fun.
I'd love to do, Mary, sometime. Here, this idea is just off the top of my head, but there's so many pottery things where you can bake in them or on.
Oh,
And we should do a collaboration sometime.
yes, that would be awesome. I'd be glad to do that.
Oh, even the terrines on the pottery wheel where you actually cook in the clay. Or
Ooh.
the other day I made a bowl that I keep my kosher salt in. Well, I also have a sugar bowl. And it's like a few times it's gotten a little mixed up. So I made a little heart, a little ceramic heart that said kosher salt. And
how cool is that?
it lays on the top of the salt.
There you go.
And so, because I never have the salt thing covered, we're always reaching in, as you know, and taking a pinch of salt here and there. But it's nice to know that it's salt, that you don't have to question whether that's the sugar bowl or the salt bowl. So we should do something in collaboration, and the kids would have something they've made in pottery that they could use with their culinary. Just like you're saying, Sean, you use something every Thanksgiving that you serve your gravy in, or
Yep, exactly. Yeah, that'd be great. You know, I think that'd be a great collaboration with the art department over at La Quinta High and you guys. I brought over Stacy Campbell, their teacher, that initially did the walkthrough for Lit Live, and she would be all over that, as well as Mr. Kaufman, who's actually in charge of ceramics over there.
You know what would be interested is to pull the other chefs in from the communities into that program as well, because we all use, like I have a salt and a pepper little container. I mean, we all do. That would be fun to maybe, pull it into a whole evening of a fundraiser.
Oh, yes. We can do it. I really believe in collaborating a lot. And I just
you know what? Getting you two together, it seems like it's going to cause me some more work. I'm going to have to talk to Thomas as well.
Yes.
Well, it's all exciting. It's all fun to see smiling faces and do something different, and the community involvement. And I think it's just making a difference. Putting something forward, and you just have to do that. I mean, that's the whole part of being a decent human being, is to be involved in the community, be a volunteer, work with other people, donate something, give your free time.
I love it.
So we are coming up close to 8:30, and I do have to jump on another call here. Victor, I just want to say thank you again for taking the time to be with us this morning and sharing about what's going on. Is there anything that you'd like to say to our community that's watching? A direct message from Victory Grund and Town Artisan Studios.
I would just say I hope people will come by. We're in La Quinta, across from Lavender Bistro. All ages are welcome. We do a group of Alzheimer's. We have the children's programs. So we just have a lot that we offer, but we want people to know we're there. And just to feel like they're a part of it, that it becomes theirs to enjoy. So it's just a big, huge welcome to have anybody come, and you can even bring a little latte in or something and sit in the patio and just watch what's happening.
So I want to clarify, doors are open for people to come in and check it out right now.
They aren't yet. Yes, thank you for clarifying that. Yes, very much appreciate that. And I would say this, if anybody and everybody would sign up for our newsletter, going to the website and signing up for the newsletter, then you'll know the second it's open for anyone to come by. Right now, we're using extreme protocol. The kids have their temperature taken. We don't have anyone there but the students. But we'll get past this. We will.
I got it. And Chef Mary, I'll tell you, what is it? Next week, we've got a special week planned. We've got our visitors already lined up. I'll tell you, Chef Mary, you know this, and Victor, I'll tell you, we're going to be highlighting Desert Sands staff and their talents over the next couple of weeks over Morning Coffee with Chef Mary. And Chef Mary, we got a treat next Tuesday. We've got, who is it, Javier Treviso, who's an elementary school teacher at Washington Charter, but who has also performed on stages like the McCollum Theater.
Wow.
Really?
The show at Agua Caliente. So he's going to come on and talk with us, and he's an elementary school teacher. So I want to ask him, what's scarier, performing at the McCallum or performing in front of 30 kids every day? And then both of you know this person, Victor, maybe more by name, but you may know who it is. Dr. Rebecca Cook is going to join us next Thursday.
Oh my God, that's awesome. I just love her.
She's our Director of Leadership Development in Desert Sands. She was my principal when I worked at La Quinta, and Chef Mary's principal. But she's going to talk about her hobbies and her talent, and she is an amazing knitter.
Oh, I know.
Yeah, she's going to share about her knitting. And I actually talked to Dr. Cook this morning, and you'll appreciate this. We'd be in, heated discussions and meetings with, 10, 12, 15 people. And the whole time she's there just knitting.
Oh, I love it.
Discussion.
I love
discussion. I couldn't believe it. So we're going to talk to her on Thursday. So, this has become quite the platform for us, Chef Mary. We get to highlight great things that students are doing, great things that students are doing, and then as well as great things like what Victory's doing in the community. So Mary, thank you as well for taking the time to join me.
Mary, thank you. I can't wait to give you a hug, and
I'll be in the desert next weekend. Next week, Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday, Friday. I'm having some dental work done, but maybe if you're around, we can grab lunch or coffee or something and bat some stuff around.
Well, I would so love that. I'm not in the desert right now. We're on Whidbey Island. I'm north of Seattle.
Oh,
But we will get there. But I do know if Sean, I don't know how your timing is, but gosh, you would be welcome, I know, to come over with him there. And
that would be awesome.
It's very
We'll try and coordinate and I'll connect us with Thomas, Mary. You just reach out to me and we'll do that.
Oh, yeah.
Ladies, it was a pleasure.
Bye, guys.
I'll see you later in the week. Have a good one.
All right.
Bye-bye.
Love you both. Thank you so much.
Bye, Sean.
Bye-bye.
Thanks. Bye, guys.
So